Welcome back everyone, and this time it's for UFC 294 Makhachev vs Oliveira 2. We're in Abu Dhabi for this event, and unlike most UFC numbered big events, this card only has a main card and a prelim card, no early prelim card. So the first fight in prelim card takes place in the middleweight division, and we've got Shara Magomedov taking on Bruno Silva. Shara Magomedov is making his debut in the UFC. It has been quite a rumor, I would say, but it was kind of everywhere on the internet. And as for a winner, and as he is undefeated, I'm gonna go and pick Shara Magomedov to get the win. I don't know, maybe a submission win. Note that he has 10 wins by knockouts and 7 wins by in the first round. So it's kind of impressive. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna pick him over Bruno Silva for this fight. So most likely a victory by knockout. I would say in the second round or the third round, because I do not underestimate Bruno Silva. He's a veteran in this sport, in this game, and in the UFC. He had more than a couple of fights. Next, we go to the women's strawweight division as Victoria Dudakova takes on Yin Hu Fry. I don't know both fighters. I think I maybe seen one of Yin Hu Fry matches earlier this year, but it was a loss. It was a loss, actually. Yeah, she has been on a losing streak since 2022, something like that. So not sure she got what it takes to get the win this Sunday for the event. And as for Victoria Dudakova, she's undefeated. She has almost 100% finish rate, and she won her debut back in July with a knockout, or technical knockout, a knockout finish. So I'm gonna go with Victoria Dudakova to get the win, maybe by decision. Next, we go to the featherweight division as Nathaniel Wood takes on Muhammad Naimov. I don't know about Muhammad Naimov. I'm just assuming he's making his debut in the company, but it's not the case. He actually won back in June for his debut. So, props to him. His first test in the UFC was successful, but he's facing right now for his second fight in the UFC. A very tough Nathaniel Wood. I don't think he has what it takes to beat him. The betting odds also are in favor of Nathaniel Wood. Yeah, he's a pretty important favorite for this fight, so I'm gonna go with him, and he's going to get the win maybe by decision. Yeah. Next, we go to the lightweight division as Mike Breeden takes on Anshul Jubli. I don't know about fighters that much. I heard about Mike Breeden before, but not much, really not much. I know that Anshul Jubli won his debut earlier this year. Also, Mike Breeden he actually lost, or is on a kind of losing streak, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So I wonder if he loses again, is he out of the UFC, or are they going to keep him around? I I saw somewhere that there was more and more fighters being released from their contracts, including it was Jennifer Maya or Jessica I think it was Jennifer Maya that was released of a contract recently following a loss. So he's on a 3-fight losing streak in the UFC. So if he loses this time, he might be out of the UFC. And I feel like he doesn't have the level to win either way, so I'm going to predict Anshul Jubli to get the win by decision. Next, we actually go back to the 185 division, the middleweight division, as Abu Dhabi takes on Cedric Dumas. I know about Cedric Dumas. I've seen him fight before. I don't know a lot about Abu Dhabi. So I don't know for this one. He lost his debut. Speaking of Abu Dhabi, he lost his debut back in 2021. So more than 2 years ago now. And he's going back to the UFC, taking on Cedric Dumas. That has been more active and winning fights. Actually, I think he won his debut. He didn't win his debut, but he got a win back in June of this year. So for this reason, I'm gonna go and pick Cedric Dumas to get the win by submission in the second round. Next, we go to the men's bantamweight division as Javid Basharat takes on Victor Henry. For this one, it's kind of tough. Basharat is undefeated, and prior joining the UFC, he had a 100% finish rate. Although he hasn't been defeated in the UFC, it was only by decision. It was only decision wins. As for Victor Henry, he has a bigger career, more experience, therefore. Still, I don't think he's going to get the win. I don't know. I don't think experience makes everything and explain everything. So I'm going to go Javid Basharat to get the win yet another time. Once again by decision. Next, we go back to the lightweight division, the 155 division, 155 pound, as Mohamed Yahya makes his debut and take on Trevor Peek. For this one, I'm going to be honest. I don't think Trevor Peek has what it takes. Although he is a very good fighter, he was undefeated before joining the UFC. He lost his last fight. His only loss. It was by decision, but I think Mohamed Yahya is going to take the edge, and as it is his debut, going to perform better and really trying to make the best out of this debut and first fight in the UFC. So a finish, I see maybe a submission finish or a knockout finish in the second round for Mohamed Yahya. Next, we go to the men's flyweight division as 10th ranked Tim Elliott takes on 11th ranked Islam Makhachev. This is one of the rare occasions I will not complain about ranked fighters being on the prelim card instead of the main card, because the main card is kind of stacked. But there is one exception on the main card that kind of annoys me, because they are not ranked fighters at all, and still they are in the main card instead of ranked fighters being in the prelim card. Anyway, as for the flyweight fight, to me there's a no-brainer that Mohamed Makhachev is going to get the win by submission, probably in the first round. He's a beast. I don't think somebody even has a chance right now in the top, except maybe the top 5, I would say, to stop him. He's undefeated. He has 7 wins by finishes, and 3 decisions. So I don't think somebody has something against him right now. He only had 1 decision win in the UFC so far, The 3 others are submissions. So I don't overlook or look down on Team Elliott, but I don't think he's going to survive one of Makhachev attempts to a takedown and then a submission lock. And with that being said, we now move on to the main card. So we've got, for the first fight of the main card, we actually go back to the men's bantamweight division, and we've got Said Nurmagomedov taking on Muin Gafurov. So this fight is tough to call. Both fighters are excellent, I would say. Still, they have a lot to do to reach the top 15, the top 10, the top 5, and the belt of their division. Starting with Said Nurmagomedov, he has almost a 100% first round finish rate. He doesn't have a 100% finish rate. He has a lot of decision wins. And as for Muin Gafurov, it's almost similar. He has almost a 100% finish rate and almost a 100% first round finish rate. He has like 17 finishes out of 18 wins, and he has like 14 first round finishes out of 17 finishes. So that's kind of that's kind of insane to have this fight. They're both, I would not say early on their career because they had a lot of fights before. They are early in their career in the UFC. Maybe not that's not the case for Said Nurmagomedov, but he has a long way to go before reaching, like I said, top 15, top 10, top 5, and then the belt. For this one, I'm going to go with Muin Gafurov getting the win. And maybe it's not going to be the case since he lost his debut, but I believe he's going to do better this time against a very tough and prepared opponent. I see this fight ending with a decision win for Muin Gafurov, and that's what I'm going to side with right now. Next, we go back once again to the middleweight division, and I'm kind of sad because this is not the fight that was scheduled first. And we've got 11th ranked Ikram Aliskerov taking on Warlley Alves. That comes as a replacement of Nassourdine Imavov, a ranked fighter in the middleweight division as well. So I can only assume Warlley Alves is pretty new to the company, but it's actually not the case. Just has been on a losing streak, 2-fight losing streak. That's kind of sad to put him against a ranked fighter. I don't believe he got enough to take on a ranked fighter and a very tough Ikram Aliskerov. That is undoubtedly the one of the fighters that will climb to the top 5, as he's already 11th ranked. A very important thing to note that is Ikram Aliskerov knocked out his opponent in his debut in the first round. So, and his only loss comes from the end of the very famous and fighter that we'll talk about later on, Khamzat Chimaev. So no brainer to me that Ikram Aliskerov is going to get the win by a knockout or technical knockout in the first round. That's for sure. We go to the light heavyweight division, 205-pound division, and this fight kind of makes me wonder what the fuck is happening, what the hell is happening, my bad, in the light heavyweight division, as we got 2nd ranked Magomed Ankalaev taking on 7th ranked Johnny Walker. And while I was swearing and kind of not knowing what to say, it's because Magomed Ankalaev had a title fight, I think it was earlier this year, beginning of the year, against Jan Blachowicz. It ended in a very controversial majority draw or split draw, but a draw. So nobody got the belt. And who has the belt right now? I think nobody still has the belt, because there have been some of the champions, well, two of the champions vacated the belt and making the belt, well, not being, how could I say, well, nobody's the champion in that division, basically. Am I right? Well, actually, there's still Jamal Hill that did not relinquish the belt, but he's injured since his fight against Glover Teixeira, also a former champion. So that's kind of weird. If I have to explain the whole situation, Jan Blachowicz fought against Glover Teixeira, I think it was end of 2021, and lost his belt to 44 years old. I think it was 44, 42. Then, in his first defense, Glover Teixeira took on Jiří Procházka, and Jiří Procházka became the new champion, light heavyweight champion, and Glover Teixeira did not defend his belt. Then, Jiří Procházka got injured, so he relinquished the belt, and there was a fight for it. So it was Jamal Hill taking on Glover Teixeira, and Jamal Hill defeated Glover Teixeira by unanimous decision after 5 rounds of really punishment. It was punishment of Glover Teixeira. This man is really way too much tough. He took a beating for 5 rounds. I wonder why the referee did not stop the fight, but it was simply because Glover Teixeira did not want to go down. And, well, it was a full domination of Jamal Hill during 5 rounds. So he became the new champion, the new light heavyweight champion. Undisputed light heavyweight champion. But he got injured. So now we're looking for a new champion. And there was a fight between Jan Blachowicz, former champion, and Magomed Ankalaev, the one of the fighters taking this fight in the light heavyweight division for this UFC 294. So Jan Blachowicz took on Magomed Ankalaev, and that resulted in a majority draw or split draw. Later this year, Jan Blachowicz, still him, the same man, took on Alex Pereira, coming from the middleweight division. They fought, and I don't think it was for the it was not for the belt, not even for the how could I say, all these, well, it was for no belts. It wasn't even for the interim. It was not for the interim belt. So there was this fight, and Alex Pereira won the fight, so further pushing down Jan Blachowicz away from a title fight sooner or later. And now we've got this one, Magomed Ankalaev taking on Johnny Walker, and that probably means that the winner of this fight will take on Alex Pereira, and this would be either for the interim lightweight title or for the undisputed light heavyweight title. So this is kind of tough one to call. I don't look down on Magomed Ankalaev, even though his performance in the last fight was disappointing. And as for Johnny Walker, he's ripped. I just watched the ceremonial weigh-in. He was ripped, man. So I don't know. I guess I'm gonna, well, either way we're gonna have a fight for the interim or the undisputed light heavyweight title. So for this one, I'm not gonna predict anyone. I just hope it's going to be a great fight, but I'm not sure since Magomed Ankalaev is involved in this one. Next, we actually are at the co-main event, and it takes place once again in the 185-pound division, the middleweight division. And we've got first ranked, but in the welterweight division, Kamaru Usman taking on fourth ranked, but in the welterweight division as well, Khamzat Chimaev. Yes, they are both ranked in the welterweight division, but fighting at middleweight, the weight class above their usual weight class. Can be weird, but I understand the reason behind that. There's also the fact that Khamzat Chimaev completely missed, I would say, a weigh-in before and almost ruined an event. I think it was UFC 278 or 9, something like that. Well, almost ruined the event. So I think it's better that he's fighting at middleweight right now. So for this fight, since Kamaru Usman is a former champion and Khamzat Chimaev is just a monster, undefeated man, and just finishing people, we have to take account that this man, before his fight against Gilbert Burns, had more wins than he was being hit in the UFC. That's how good he is. That's how tremendous and how people see as a monster. He has 11 wins by finishes, and out of these 11 wins, 8 of them are in the first round. That's insane for someone fighting at a high level, because when he was thrown in the UFC, it was really high level competition, high level. Maybe not at the beginning, but I guess, yeah. In his third or fourth fight, he was like thrown in the how could I say, the top of the division. But this is a long story for Khamzat Chimaev. He had some health issues, so that will explain why it took more than 2 or 3 fights for him to get there. But he was sick at some point because of COVID. So for prediction, I'm going to go and say that Khamzat Chimaev is going to get a win. That's kind of obvious to me. I don't look down on Kamaru Usman at all. I know he's a former champion. I know he's very tough. He was the pound for pound number 1 in the world for a time, and there's a reason for that. Many people are looking down on him and don't think he stands a chance. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Khamzat Chimaev is a monster, and he's actually going to be underestimated for this fight. He showed he was probably the best undefeated welterweight, because there are a lot of undefeated welterweight actually. So yeah, Khamzat Chimaev getting the win, maybe by TKO. But since it's 3-round fight, I won't think it happens. So I will go with a decision win for Khamzat Chimaev. And with that being said, we now move on to the main event, and it is for the lightweight title. And we got, therefore, the lightweight champion defending for the second time his belt, Islam Makhachev, taking on featherweight champion, and in the rematch, Alexander Volkanovski. And this might be one of the toughest fight to call on the card. Why? Because it's a rematch, meaning there was a first fight between the two fighters, and this fight was very, very close. So now they're facing each other once again. I believe that both took knowledge of the other to another level and really studied their opponents. So if I have to say that someone's going to get the win, I would go with Islam Makhachev getting the win yet again by decision. I don't see a finish to this fight. They're too goddamn good to be finished. That's not possible in my mind. That's not going to happen. So Islam Makhachev getting the win by decision. And that's it for UFC 294. So I'll leave you there. Until next time.